In an attempt to make my most disliked video, I made this, comparing the almighty Red Dead Redemption 2 to the measly GTA 5. But I didn't stop there. I'm going to prove GTA 5 is better. These two games have a lot in common. One of the major similarities is, well, they start off in snowy areas. Joking aside, they feel like the typical third-person Rockstar game. They do have first-person modes, but I barely switch over, and I think the majority played it that way. The way the character moves to combat, they have the same core, but RDR is crisper and it is a better experience. That's the last time I'm going to let RDR win. But combat is so smooth, it's comically easy. Taking cover is never essential, nor is paying any attention. You can run through most camps and you'll fail only if you try something really outlandish. Because even if you stand right in front of an enemy, you could very well survive. The game is not challenging. If it's not challenging, you aren't going to pay all that much attention. And if you don't pay attention, it's not going to be fun for all that long. GTA on the other hand is still on the easier side, but you have to think, especially if you don't keep using special abilities. Trevor's ability is slightly overpowered. Playing without them is a nice challenge boost. Any game that doesn't keep you engaged won't last very long. After a few hours of playing Red Dead, I was running through camps, but I was never thinking about it. I was mentally absent and going through the motions much like school. The absurd situations and the little extra bit of challenge that GTA offers kept me engaged longer than RDR did. The funny thing is, for a game that claims to be brutally realistic, RDR 2's combat sections are not even close to being grounded or realistic, not in the slightest. You're basically a superhero while others are not even as capable as normal human beings.
Come on, pretty boy. Pretty boy? You're kidding me. Pretty boy?
Realism is completely fine. Period appropriate weapons, for example. Either using an RPG won't make much sense. It definitely adds to the experience, but when was the last time you were excited when you bought or picked up a weapon in the game? Most guns feel the same. This is all me, of course. You might be an expert and feel every little difference, but I wasn't saving up for a cool weapon like I do in most games. I know this is dumb, like wanting guns in a medieval game, but here I'm looking at how much fun the game is, not how accurate or realistic it is. On the other hand, GTA is all about giving you every weapon on the face of the earth, allowing you to cause destruction in every imaginable way. Most of us don't quite take advantage of that. We end up using the default weapon with the occasional RPG. Mission design has always been great in GTA, but more so in GTA 5. You jump off planes, run triathlons, get away on a jet ski with your daughter, and many more. The point is, the game throws everything at your face to keep you engaged. Red Dead does this too. Hot air balloons, crocodile hunts, shoveling pig feces, jumping on trains from a cliff. But because there are so many shooting galleries that feel exactly the same, the variety in missions get overlooked. Even so, you end up riding to and fro from shooting galleries for way too long. That's the main campaign, but side missions are a delight throughout. There are rarely any mundane, stale missions outside the main stuff. But Red Dead is set in a time when there weren't as many fun things to do. GTA on the other hand mimics our world, which is filled with fun things. So I feel the time period plays an important role in RDR feeling slow or stale. I mean, you can't have massive chopper chases in 1899. Rockstar could have taken two approaches. They could have stuck to the time period and everything that comes with it. This is what they did do. Or they could have taken some liberty and focused on making a fun game instead of a realistic game. Don't get me wrong, I love realistic games. In fact, Kingdom Come Deliverance is one of my favorite games ever. If you think RDR is realistic, then playing Kingdom Come Deliverance is going to change your worldview. The thing is, we weren't expecting a realistic game from Rockstar. They have never really been concerned with making everything accurate. I mean, Red Dead Redemption 1 never shied away from throwing realism out the window if it meant there was room for entertainment. What I feel RDR 2 does wrong is it drags out the annoying things that you want to get over with. No one wants to stand there looting items for an hour, watching tedious animations. You want to make things grounded? Well fine, take things that are fun to begin with and ground them as much as you want. But taking things that are tedious to begin with and dragging them out in the name of realism is only going to make the game feel like a chore. Some fun things like picking your hat after a fight. Who wasn't smiling when the game told you to pick Arthur's hat up for the first time? That is a nice way of keeping things both entertaining and realistic. This is an area where GTA does great. The game knows when it should be real and when it should be absurd. 3 guys going against an entire city and winning isn't exactly something that happens in real life, but the game goes through with it anyway because it's fun. But some other things like the in-game stock market mostly make sense. The good news is you aren't standing there and picking a grape for an hour. Even when you aren't taking part in any missions, GTA has a way of keeping you entertained. Exploration and free roam in RDR is among the best. But it's amazing because you run into amazing missions. The actual act of free roam isn't the fun part, even though Red Dead might have the best horse mechanics in games. When you're free roaming in GTA, there's riding off a cliff on a dirt bike, or trying to drive like a normal person, or driving like a not so normal person, performing stunts on a plane, or skydiving. These are some of the fun things to do outside missions. Even police chases are incredibly fun in GTA. In RDR, not so much. In fact, it's usually annoying. If you load up GTA with friends, you most likely will end up just messing around, not completing any missions or objectives. When a game manages to be enjoyable when you're literally doing nothing, that's some achievement. When you put in all the different side missions, random encounters, bounty hunts, treasure hunts, working for scientists, working with legendary gunslingers, Red Dead is on a whole other level of immersion. But GTA has that unique quality, but just existing in its world is amazing. There are some things that RDR is clearly better at. The narrative is among the best in gaming, but the thing is, if the story is the only thing great about your game, everyone will be content watching playthroughs on the internet. Having a great story is always a plus, but it should add on to gameplay, which is what games were created for. I mean, an amazing story can make a good game into a great game, but gameplay is what made the game good in the first place. And in my opinion, Red Dead Redemption 2 leans too much into the story and too little on the gameplay side of things. Red Dead Redemption 2 was my second favorite game of all time, but after making this video, it definitely has slipped a few places in my mind. GTA 5 captures everything a product made for entertainment should capture. It's entertaining throughout. Even if you don't agree, as they say, numbers don't lie, and the day one records the game set are no fluke. It's just that good.
Yeah, well, I'm giving it my best shot. Hey, we're having fun, right?
You weren't wrong, Hosea. This place is perfect.
I hope so.
Gentlemen, we have survived.
For now.
Now, it is time to prosper.